It's race week once again, and just a week after the 6 hours of Portimao, we are here in Spa for another race in the World Endurance Championship. With the addition of 2 more hypercars, which of course we'll talk about, the hypercar grid is now at a total of 13. Plus the additional packed grid of LMP2 and GTE-AM, this brings the total to precisely 38 cars for the upcoming Belgian event. So this is everything you need to know as I preview the 6 hours of Spa. So we're back in one of the best circuits in the world, the Spa Francorchamps circuit. But before we get into this race preview, I do want to mention if you missed out on the 6 hours of Portimao, which was the previous race, definitely go check that out with the link in the top right corner. That is for my race review on the 6 hours of Portimao. So the 6 hours of Spa, where do we begin? Well, let's start off with the entry list. For hypercar, there will be 13 cars on the grid. In LMP2, there will be 11, and in GTE-AM, there will be 14. This makes up a total of 38 cars on the Spa Francorchamps grid. Let's dive in deeper into that hypercar grid, as there are some changes from the previous 2 rounds in Sebring and Portimao. In the last 2 rounds, there were 11 entries, and now for Spa, there are 13 that have joined. They are both LMDH prototypes, one of which is a Cadillac and the other is a Porsche. The Cadillac is the IMSA variant of the Ganassi LMDH. This is actually the 01 yellow team that comes over to the World Endurance Championship, although it is not the exact same car that races in IMSA. It's the same team and driver lineup from the full season entry, including drivers such as Renger van der Zande and Sebastian Bourdais. Let me point out something real quickly. The WEC needs a 3rd driver on the grid, and usually for the CGR Cadillac that races in IMSA, Scott Dixon is that 3rd driver. But he can't make the event at Spa since he's racing at Barber Motorsport Park in IndyCar this coming weekend. So Jack Aiken, who piloted the red Cadillac at the Rolex 24 and 12 Hours of Sebring, will come over to race with Chip Ganassi Racing at the 6 Hours of Spa. The other entry is Jota Sports 963 Porsche. This is the first 963 customer entry to set foot on track for racing, as Jota Sport moved from LMP2 to hypercar with the number 38 Porsche 963. And don't worry, Jota will still be in LMP2 with the number 28 car. It's just the team that ran the second Jota labeled as the number 48 that moved over to hypercar with this Porsche. I also wanted to mention, because of the announcement of Paul Dalla Lana retiring from the sport, this means there's going to be a change at the Northwest Aston Martin car, as Heart of Racing, the Rolex 24 winners, are taking over the 98 car for the remainder of the WEC season. This means they'll race at Spa for the first time and participate at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Let's now take a look at championship standings heading into the 6 Hours of Spa Francorchamps. Toyota still leads the championship in hypercar with 64 points. Ferrari is in 2nd, with Porsche and Cadillac 3rd and 4th tied on points. Then comes Peugeot, Van Wall, and Glickenhaus. In LMP2, United Autosports leads that class's championship with 56 points. Speaking of them, they actually have Felipe Albuquerque back in the car at Spa since he won't be driving in IMSA with the Konica Minolta Acura team since they aren't returning till Laguna Seca, which is in a couple weeks. And then in GTE-AM, it is Corvette leading the championship in terms of constructors with 64 points to their name, and that's because they grabbed the win in both events of the World Endurance Championship. So what about the track? Well, the layout is named Circuit de Spa Francorchamps. The Belgian circuit is considered one of the most famous circuits across the whole world of motorsport. It opened its doors in 1921 on the location of Stavelot, Belgium. The circuit has gone through many changes and forms throughout its existence. But in its current form from 2007 onward, the track has 19 corners that make up the 7-kilometer circuit, which is 4.3 miles for those using that format. There are many historic corners on this track, including the left-hander of Blanchemont, the now former bus stop chicane, and the infamous turn 1, La Sauce. But the corner that everyone knows when they think of Spa Francorchamps is of course the Rouge Radion section. This is one of the most famous, maybe even the most famous set of corners on any racing circuit. It's unlike any other corner we've seen in racing for the nature of it going uphill to the right and back onto the left as the cars approach the Kemmel Straight. Spa has hosted major events, not just the World Endurance Championship, including motorsports such as Formula 1, F2, European Le Mans Series, the 24 Hours of Spa, DTM, and so much more. So when exactly will the 6 Hours of Spa take place? Well, the race itself will last up to 6 hours, but qualifying will take place on April 28th on Friday for all 3 classes, starting off at precisely 5 p.m. with the GTE class and finishing out with Hypercar at precisely 6:15 p.m. The race itself will be on Saturday, April 29th, from 12:45 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. And keep in mind, I'm reading all of this in the local time zone. This is not the first time the World Endurance Championship has come to the Spa Francorchamps circuit for the 6-hour event. The WEC first came here in 2012 with Audi Sport Team Jost winning overall with the Audi R18. The manufacturer who has the most wins at the 6 Hours of Spa is Toyota Gazoo Racing. They have 6 total at the Spa Francorchamps circuit, and they could make it 7 here in 2023. This race should be pretty entertaining, considering that the cars are racing around an iconic circuit such as the Spa Francorchamps circuit and the amount of cars in this year's WEC grid, especially in hypercar. So the remaining question is, how can you watch this race live? Well, for the majority of Europe, it will be streamed on Eurosport 2. For USA, it will be streamed on Motor Trend. For Canada, it will be on Velocity and Motor Trend. And for Mexico, it will be streamed on Fox Sports. For my viewers living in South America, you should be able to watch the race on Direct TV Sports. And also, keep this in mind, if you're living in Brazil, I think you can watch it on the WEC YouTube channel. For viewers in some parts of Asia and Australia, you should be able to watch it on Eurosport. For those in Japan, it should be on J Sports 3. For those in the Middle East, it should be on SSC. And for viewers in Africa, it should be on Supersport. If I missed out on a place to watch, make sure to go check out the WEC's Instagram post that has more information on this. I'll put a link in the description down below. So who's going to take victory in each class? I predict for the 6 Hours of Spa Francorchamps in GTE AM that Corvette Racing will take the win. They've been super consistent throughout the season, and I think they'll get their 3rd win in a row, which would be absolutely astonishing if they can pull that off. For LMP2, I believe the number 63 Prima car is going to take victory. They took the LMP2 pole last time out in Portimao, but they weren't able to convert that into a win. But I think here in Spa, they have a good chance at taking victory. And then in hypercar, I think we're going to see another Toyota win. I would love to see another manufacturer take overall victory, but Toyota has been so consistent, and I think they have a pretty good shot at taking the victory. Also, watch out for Porsche and Ferrari. I think Porsche in particular is going to find a lot of pace here compared to Portimao and Sebring. Those 963s I think are going to come alive, especially since they've had a lot of testing here. And same thing for Ferrari. They've had a bunch of testing here, and I think that 499P will go really well. So I personally think that Toyota is going to be fastest, but I do think if Toyota is going to have some competition, it's going to mainly come from Porsche and Ferrari. And maybe even Cadillac and Peugeot get in the fight for the win. The 9X8 hypercar went really well at Portimao, and then go over to the V Series R, and there's 2 Cadillacs on the grid, and both entries look really competitive. So honestly, I think we could have 5 different manufacturers in the fight for the podium, which would just be amazing in hypercar. So that's my race preview complete on the 6 Hours of Spa Francorchamps in 2023. What are your predictions and just your general thoughts on this upcoming event in Belgium? Of course, let me know all your thoughts down in the comments section. If you're interested in endurance racing and you want to get updates on the WEC and IMSA, make sure to subscribe to the left. And if you want to see more videos, watch one of the suggested options to the right of your screen. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.